What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the David Lopez Show, presented by Passion Park ENT. Hope everybody is doing wonderful. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you got to enjoy some time with, friends, family. Got to do some productive shit. All of that. Hope you're staying safe in this crazy news cycle that we got going on right now. Obviously there's some real health scares going on country-wise, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how those are related to sports and in the sports world and how that's affecting things right now. But we're going to get to that. So before that, we'll just do some housekeeping up top like we normally do. No specific ads or show dates, as I've been saying for like 2 months. We're working on show dates and all that stuff. I gotta be honest, I'm getting a little frustrated because I've been getting curved kind of by a lot of, I don't even know if I'll say curved, but just like, curved, because like I'm talking to people, they're really cool with it, and then you send the emails back and forth, and you just like, I don't know, shit just go stagnant. So I haven't gotten anything on the books, but like I've been saying, a lot of things in the works, so I'm trying to get some stuff set up. But to learn about my career, to listen to my new music, my newest single, Shoot or Shoot, came out on February 28th, and I drop a new song every month. And with that being said, it is March 11th right now, so I got a couple of weeks for another one to come out, and I have that pretty planned out. So stay tuned. Go to www.thedavidlopez.com. That's where you can find all my music, my merch, my videos, all that stuff. Any support is super appreciated. It means the world to me. Is what I love to do. So the fact that people listen is awesome. Actually, my single from December, "Call Me," featuring Drumlord, my man Drumlord, shout out to him, just hit 20K streams on Spotify, so thank you to everybody who's been listening. That is my most streamed song, at least on Spotify. As far as the whole like streaming world, everything, I think "Fuck With This," featuring Clayton William, my that one like electronic song I think that's actually my most streamed song, because if you look at the numbers from all the platforms, that song does crazy on Pandora, oddly enough. But like, I mean, I get emails every week from Pandora about like how my songs are doing, and like that song just keeps getting plays consistently. So it's awesome. But yeah, on Pandora, I think that song's hit over 100K, which is awesome. But just to have us "Call Me" hit 20K on Spotify is really a cool milestone, and I just want to keep bumping that up. I don't want to stop there, obviously. So I'm hoping we can just keep pushing "Call Me." The tricky thing sometimes, at least I find for me, since I'm trying to, like, I know part of this game is and just part of keeping your focus and staying happy is just keeping it moving and keep working on new stuff. At least for me, it's like I gotta keep moving and working on new stuff. I finish a song and I think about the next one right away, which is not the correct strategy for marketing and to get the music out. That is not the right way. You have to, still give these songs time. And with that being said, the fact that "Call Me" came out in December, I don't want to forget that I can still push that song a year later. You know what I mean? Like, I still have, thoughts and ideas about doing a music video and all that stuff. And like, to me, I don't think it's so necessary to have it right when it comes out. Obviously, when you're a bigger artist, I think that's a little bit more important. But for somebody like me, who people haven't heard all my music, I think I can still push these songs as long as the quality is good, for as long as I can. So I'm hoping that "Call Me," starts to get a little more traction, maybe get up to like 50K, hopefully, eventually 100K. And then maybe we'll consider shooting a video and bump it up again, That's kind of the hope there. So please keep streaming my music. It means the world to me. And then if you want to learn a little bit more about Passion Park, about what we do, about the events that we host, just some of our like short films that we've done and other videos, go to www.passionparkent.com. And that's where you're going to be able to find all our stuff. If you want to support us, there's a merch tab, so you can definitely buy some merch. That would be directly supporting us. But also, if you hit the More tab, we have some affiliates. Diamond CBD, Splice, which is a site for music creators. All those sites, if you use any of those through our link, you are directly supporting us, so that would mean a lot. So we really, really appreciate that. As far as like the film stuff goes for Passion Park, I know a little bit ago I released the trailer for the So Much More 2 documentary. I have a cut of that done, and I've had it done, and I really need to revisit how I want to drop it. I'm going to be honest, I liked the trailer. I like the documentary that I made for it. I do. I like the footage that I used. I think I put it in the right order, but I was a little self-conscious about it because, I essentially made a documentary or behind the scenes footage from like this show that I did and about the album. But I did it myself. So I mean, like the one thing I'm hesitant about is that like, I mean, I guess I kind of created the narratives because there was nobody interviewing me. I used the footage that I have to then like the footage that I had from all these shows and like over the year, I then used it and like made a story or a narrative for me that I thought worked with the album. But then I had to like do an interview myself, or not an interview, I guess you would call it just I don't know, just a one-on-one video thing, like the real world type shit where you're just in the confessional booth type shit. I did one of those videos to kind of help the story progress. And so I guess I was just a little self-conscious about like doing that myself for the documentary. But I mean, it is what it is. I made this project to go with the album, and I think I'm gonna drop it pretty soon. I want to give so much more to that album, which dropped last May and has 22 songs and over an hour of music on it. And I just listened to most of it the other day again because sometimes I have to go back and listen to it. And I want to make sure that album gets a little more life. And I want to, I might shoot another music video for something. I want to do some stuff like that. Keep these songs alive. Like I said, there's no need to stop promoting them. All right. So that was me badgering with all the housekeeping. I mean, if you didn't want to listen to that, you could have just skipped a couple minutes ahead. So it is what it is. But yeah, that's where I'm at with all that. I want to keep pushing stuff out, and hopefully there will be a new song this month, and then hopefully some show dates to come here soon. So go to www.thedavidlopez.com and www.passionparkent.com. And then follow me on any social media at _David Lopez. I don't post enough, but I need to post more. I post more to my Instagram story than I do to anything, but I really need to like start actually posting pictures more. Like, I'm just not great at this stuff. I'm trying to get better, but I actually hate when people say, maybe not hate, but it's something that I'm trying to learn. Is like when people say, "Oh, I'm just not good at that." Like, "Oh, I'm just not good at that." It's not something I've ever been good at, even though I always say that about like marketing. Well, then get good at it. I mean, we have time to get good and learn things. We're not stuck at any point in our lives where you can just be like, that's not me. I'm not good at it. It doesn't have, like, no, you can learn, you can grow, and I have to tell myself that. And so I'm trying to get better at these things. But I feel blessed that I'm still doing what I love, and maybe not in the capacity that I was hoping to by this point. But I mean, look, patience and just getting better and doing your things is my goal here. And on this podcasting front, because I'm really happy with the fact that I started this podcast a couple years ago, and then I'm just going to keep going with this because I love talking sports, obviously, and I love just having this outlet. There are some upgrades that I'm really, really close to purchasing, and I am going to purchase very soon that directly are related to the podcast and will upgrade the podcast a little bit, just in the terms of what I can do. Hopefully, taking phone call guests. And I mean, there's ways to do that now, but it's honestly not as the way that I wanted to. And I've had this kind of long-term goal in my head anyways. So there is something that I'm trying to get that would allow me to just really upgrade the podcast in a lot of ways. So stay tuned for that. That just goes to say that this podcast will not be stopping, and I will be continuing to push it and get it better. All right, guys. All right. We're into the show. So all sports stuff today. And I mean, there's some Chicago related stuff that I definitely want to touch on. Specifically, I'll just mention Coby White for the Bulls finally got a start, so I just want to bring up a couple ideas about him, and then just Bears wise we're gonna talk a little quarterback stuff because there's been some stuff floating out there, and then Illinois with the sports betting stuff. But before all that, honestly, I just feel like we probably got to tackle some of the coronavirus stuff right up front because it's so huge, it's everywhere. I mean, things are getting canceled left and right. I mean, this morning, the St. Patrick's Day parade, all the St. Patrick's Day festivities in Chicago got canceled. I mean, I posted, I'm like, this is an obvious one. Like, this is kind of crazy because, like, it's a huge event in Chicago, but it's an obvious one. Anything that is not even, the fact that, these aren't even sports related. These are just traditions for drinking parties. Like, cancel that shit or, like, whatever. I mean, the fact of the matter is, those people that were going to go there, a lot of them are probably still going to get together and go to bars and be right on top of each other and leave themselves prone to, whatever is possible. But I mean, I think they have to cancel these big events, at least events like that. Now, while that's crazy, and then on the music side of things, South by Southwest, holy shit, that was the first one that they canceled last week that I was like, oh fuck, this is huge. I mean, for those of you who know me, I've done South by Southwest a couple of years, had such good experiences, met a lot of good people, performed, did all these awesome things. And just the fact that they had to cancel this year over this. I mean, that festival is massive. People come from everywhere for it, which makes sense. That's why you got to cancel it because all the travel and everything. But just crazy stuff. And then And then they just announced that Coachella is being postponed until October because of this. If we're all still here in October, no. I'm not here to raise panic. I'm one who tends to think we're gonna be all right. But you got to listen to medical professionals. You got to do, you got to, be as safe as you can. Leave yourself in the best position you can. Don't be an idiot is pretty much my rule of thumb in general. But I mean, I'm not one who's panicking about this. I just seeing the country respond and seeing how things go is crazy. It's not something that we normally go through. Now I just mentioned obviously Coachella and South by Southwest, but now on the sports tip, shit's getting weird. Shit's getting interesting. Every league is having to address. Every league that's in season is having to address this and having to at least have a plan in place. Every sport is considering playing without fans in the building. The NBA has already made a rule that only essential players and staff who need to be in the locker room can be in the locker room. Frankly, that's pretty much a rule that pretty much should be the case anyways. I mean, you don't need all these other people in the locker room anyway. I mean, the one thing I'll say about all this that's going on, and not to minimize the coronavirus and how significant this is and people that are losing their lives. I mean, most of the people that are losing their lives, from what I understand, have compromised immune systems, and it's a lot more worrisome if you're a little bit older. So somebody like my parents are older. I mean, that they've been saying like, oh, they're telling us not to go outside and shit. My mom works every day. She's got to go to work. It is what it is. My dad takes the train sometimes. So I mean, they're not. I think that it's scary for that. Like you don't want them to be exposed to something, but you got to live your life. You got to live your life. So LeBron made these comments. LeBron got asked last week. It kind of blindsidingly got asked. I don't think he knew that these conversations were that serious, where they're actually considering playing games without fans. And he like flipped or offhandedly is just like, wait, y'all want me to play without no fans? I do this for the fans. I'm not playing. I ain't coming. He's like, y'all can show up. I'm not coming. And like he's like joking. Like when you hear the clip, he's joking, but it also like sounds like he's, I don't know. He got caught in the wrong moment where he just sounded like he was minimizing everything. He didn't know. Now he has changed his tune. I think learning more about it. He even said he's like, I didn't realize this was a real conversation when you guys asked me. I thought we were just joking around. So because he's usually really good at not doing that. Like he's usually really good at being like very nuanced and intricate about how to answer these big issues. But he came back and he was like, I mean, he's making a lot of money. If his contract says to play games, I don't think it says specifically fans have to be there. I'm not saying, I mean, of course they do it for the fans, but I'm saying you have an obligation to the organization that you signed that contract for. So, and believe me, I don't think any of these owners want to cancel games. They don't want to refund tickets, but you got to play, and I think he knows that. Some things have already done this. I mentioned last weekend we were talking about the D3 March Madness because of my alma maters, or my alma mater, and then my other former school were in the tournament. But they actually last weekend, I didn't even realize last weekend that they played some of the opening round amongst like I don't know if it was no fans or if there was just like really minimal. But they tried to, not everywhere, but at some locations. They had to cut back on the crowds. I mean, it's a weird thing, especially for something like, I mean, I think all the sports crowds matter, but basketball, to me, like the NBA can't afford to do this in the playoffs. Well, I don't know. Okay. March Madness actually is more concerning because the playoffs for the NBA, all right, playoffs, most of the time in a 7-game series, the better team wins. So the fans, while they will affect it, I just don't think it would affect like with the better team winning for the most part. March Madness, yes. Anything single game elimination style, fans absolutely affect. I mean, maybe not always, but they do. I mean, momentum is a real thing. I don't care what people say. It just is. Especially in March Madness, man. Especially in March Madness, these crowds get into it. These upsets start to happen when these lower seeds start to get some life and the crowd starts to get into it. So, could you imagine playing these games with no crowd? It would be crazy. Obviously, D3 at a smaller level than March Madness from Division One. They did it already, and it's weird. I think that affected some games. I actually saw a game where there was a buzzer beater. I think it was Emory. And there wasn't like anybody in the crowd, but it was still an awesome buzzer beater. But real briefly, shout out to Concordia, my alma mater. They lost in the first round of the tournament to UW Platteville, but good season. Congratulations on making it to the tournament. I'm gonna try to make it out to some games next year. Trying to be a proud alum now. So congrats to CU Dub. But my other school that I went to in college before I transferred to Concordia was Elmhurst. And shout out to the Blue Jays who advanced to the Sweet 16 of the national tournament. So they play this Saturday. And I'm really hoping they get that W. It's at home in Elmhurst. I don't know if they've announced if they're going to have fans or not. I think right now they're planning on it, but I could see that changing and it being played in front of no fans. But yeah, so good luck to them. The Sweet 16, that's awesome. Like, I made the national tournament when I was at both these schools, and we never advanced. We lost in close games in the first round both those times, so kind of heartbreakers. I still remember them. But it was always a goal to make it to the Final Four. Actually, my team at Elmhurst, every single game, our chant was 1, 2, 3, Final Four, because we had a legitimate goal of making it to the Final Four, and we thought we had a chance. Man, I didn't remember that was our chant until right now, but that's kind of cool. So shout out to them. D3 does this thing. It's a little different. I just learned this actually, but it's kind of cool. They've changed it up. So the Final Four is not the Final Four anymore. So the Sweet 16, normally in Division One, it's like Sweet 16 and Elite 8 is one weekend, and then the next weekend is Final Four and Championship. What they're doing now to match up the championships for all D3, D2, D1 in the same weekend is that the Sweet 16 is this weekend, but it's only one game. So they win the Sweet 16. You go to the Elite 8. But the Elite 8 and the Final Four are treated almost like the Final Four. That's in one location. I believe it's in Indiana, Fort Wayne maybe. So the Elite 8 and the Final Four, those games are one weekend. And then the championship game is the following week, or maybe it's 2 weeks, April 5th, in Atlanta, which is where the Division 3 Final or Division 1 Final Four is, and the Division 2 National Championship too. So they play at State Farm Arena. But they try to make it all the same weekend. So they split it up. It's really different. Like, instead of advancing to the Final Four, you advance to the Elite 8, Final Four, and then championship separately. So go Blue Jays. Let's get to the championship, man. Let's bring home a championship. I like how I'm saying let's, as if I well, you know what? When you pay as much money as you got to towards these colleges, sometimes you can just keep that shit alive. So I don't give no fuck. I'm still getting phone calls from my alma mater talking about, you donate? I just graduated. What you mean? You need more money? I don't know, guys. All right. Anyways, I'm curious to see over the next couple of weeks. I think this is going to be really interesting how this is all going to play out. Italy, the whole country of Italy is basically on lockdown. I mean, you're not getting your coronavirus updates from me. So if you're listening to this podcast, I'm sure you already are aware of all these things. It's just crazy. I mean, soccer, some of the soccer leagues in Italy are being played in front of no fans. But that's funny because they announced that, and then the first game where there were supposed to be no fans, all the fans were outside of the stadium cheering. So, I mean, whatever. All you can do as these organizations and these big programs is relay the information that you're being given from these health officials and try to implement the strategies. But, I mean, if people don't listen, people don't listen. And I generally think most people won't listen, especially savage sports fans. Savage sports fans, especially soccer fans, giving no fucks. Oh, you got coronavirus? Bring that shit on. Bring it on. Oh, my friend who's from Serbia, he tweeted that Serbia is the one, I think he said, was one of the main countries that hasn't had no reported cases of coronavirus. He's like, strong like bull. That's so funny. That's hilarious. Oh, I love it. Gotta get a sip of water. Chug my coffee pretty fast before this episode, so you gotta hydrate in between. I'm one of those. I need water in between my 2 cups of coffee. I usually do 2 cups of coffee in the morning now. I don't know if that's too much, but I can't go past. I'm trying not to go past that. I'm trying to limit it to 2 cups max. I used to just be a 1 cup guy. I don't know what's going on here. All right, well, we'll see how this coronavirus stuff ends up transpiring. I mean, with this week being conference tournaments for most of Division I and next week as well, I think we're really gonna learn some stuff. The Ivy League canceled their entire conference tournament. Now, the one thing I'll say about the Ivy League choosing to cancel their conference tournament is, let's remember that this is the Ivy League. This is Harvard, Yale, Princeton. These are the smartest people in the world. And they canceled their tournament. So, I mean, usually you tend to be like, man, maybe they're onto something here. Maybe they kind of know. They got to have a good idea here. So that's scary. It sucks though for everybody who plays in the Ivy League because the regular season winner is just they get the bid no matter what. I got to be honest. I thought that used to be the rule for the Ivy League. I thought the Ivy League was the one conference where the regular season champion got the automatic bid. I should look that up, but I don't have a Jamie or a producer like I said Jamie because I listen to Rogan. But any of those producers who could look that up for me, I need to get that. Yeah, I thought that was the case. But anyways, they're all a lot of the basketball players and coaches have been really upset, and I've seen some comments. And I think a couple of them said it was hypocrisy because they said that the other sporting events in the Ivy League were still going on. So they were like, "What kind of bullshit is this?" So I understand, but I just think that the turmoil and the news stories are just starting, and we all know this is an election year as well. So I'm not to say that this is a conspiracy for that, or that it's not. I'm not even going towards that. I'm just saying it is an election year, so the news cycles are even crazier, and this thrown in the midst, messing with the economy, doing all these things is just really made news wild. Actually, I'm working on this song right now where I talk about how I'm like watching the news like way too much, rolling up loud so I can't hear none because I don't really trust where this info from. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So gotta work on that. Slipping, I'm falling, I can't get up. Watching the news like way too much, rolling up loud so I can't hear none. I don't really trust where the info from. All right. That's a little sneak peek that you could just isolate. I haven't even recorded that. I don't even know if I'm going to use it. But I just wrote those couple bars. Because I'm like, we watch the news and shit. And I'm like, I can't, base my whole life on this. But I don't know if I trust all this. Because every news station seems biased. But, it's just something. Just something I wrote. All right. Cool. So, NBA-wise, I got a couple things I want to tackle. Obviously, I had mentioned on the Bulls tip, Coby White got his first start finally in the second half of the season since the All-Star break. Dude's been averaging 25 a game and been on a tear. So the one real bright spot for the Bulls is Coby White. I mean, we were hoping for that. You need a lottery pick to really pan out. Wendell Carter Jr., I think, is going to be a good, solid NBA player. I don't think he's going to be a superstar. I think he's going to be fine. Lauri Markkanen is definitely looking like he's not going to be what we thought, or at least what we were hoping for as far as ceiling, but I think he'll be a solid NBA player. I think he'll be fine. But we need a high ceiling guy. And so at Boylen, we've talked plenty of shit about Boylen, the Bulls coach, worst coach in the NBA. It's got to be. Hopefully we get Kenny Atkinson from the Nets who just fired him just because Kyrie and KD didn't like him. But he seems to be a good coach. So I would take Atkinson over here, at least over Boylen. Funny enough, though, some people have said he's kind of got a hard news attitude too, which is like Boylen, but I think he can get along with these younger guys. But Boylen's been pretty rigid on the fact that he wants to keep Coby White as the sixth man. That was what he wanted. He's like, Coby White's the sixth man, that's it. And finally, he caved. Finally, he caved, and Coby White got his first start. And the Bulls won, so good for them. Good for them. I didn't get to see any of it. I got to see some highlights. Coby played. He looked like he played all right. He had 20 points. But that's not really the point. I mean, it is the point that he plays all right. But the point is that he needs to be getting his minutes anyways. This is the whole point. Have this guy develop. So the question I want to ask is, how good is he? How good is he? Do we know how good he is? He really balled out against Chris Paul that one night. I think the thing about Kobe's game that it's weird when you watch it, it doesn't seem like he's 6'5", but he is big. So bigger point guards who can score, and I would pretty much call him a shooting guard. While he is a point guard, he doesn't facilitate the offense, and he's a scoring guard for sure. But his height, he doesn't have crazy athleticism. He's an athlete. He's fast, but he doesn't have crazy leaping ability. But he can score. He can shoot. It's been somewhat inconsistent, but as a rookie year, that's kind of what you expect. I don't know. So I'm trying to figure out how good is he? Is he a starting point guard or starting guard, one or two, on a really good playoff team? Could he be a starting guard on a championship team? What could his ceiling be? And I'm trying to figure that out. I'm leaning towards, obviously, like I said, it's his rookie year. It's hard to tell. I'm leaning towards, I think he might be able to be, really develop into a guard who could be on a championship level team. I don't think I know. Championship level team, he is not the one option, and likely, in my opinion, probably not the two option. Maybe he's really got to show something to be the two option. But I think he could be a 3 scoring option kind of, and just a solid guard on a really good team. He's too young now, he make mistakes, but I think that's what we got, and that actually is a good piece to have, and I'm happy with that if it works out with everything, everything considered. I'm happy with that because he was the 7th overall pick. You would have liked to get a higher pick. Like I said, when that draft was happening with Michael Porter Jr., which was I think that's the draft we took Wendell. Michael Porter Jr. was the kind of pick that I would have taken. And while he's not panning to be a complete superstar yet because he was recovering from injury, he's had some ball games with the Nuggets. His ceiling to me is so much higher. That's the kind of guy I would risk on. But with everything considered, I'm happy with Coby White as a piece. but there's so many other pieces needed. Obviously, I just think he might be a piece that we could keep long term. I like Levine a lot, but he's too good right now to be here when we finally eventually get good, hopefully, if that makes sense. Like, he will likely be gone. We can use him as a piece. I think maybe we can get something in return. I mean, I think a competitor could use Zach LaVine. Put Zach LaVine as the sixth man on the Lakers, or like a team with LeBron like that, or any team like that. I think he would be a valuable asset and be very good. So I mean, maybe we could pawn him, or maybe I don't know. I like LaVine, so I'm not saying so much that we need to flip him for something. But if you're thinking long term about actually making this team work, you got to consider all options. So good luck to Coby White. I'm gonna stick with. I think we got ourselves a good piece. I'm not gonna say he's a 1 or probably not a 2 on a really good team. He could be a 2, I think, on a playoff team, but 5-6 seed type squad. I'm thinking, but I think he's really panning out. And briefly in the MVP in the MVP race in the NBA, I had pretty much said Giannis had locked it up. Had most people had said. But listening to more people, I mean, you can't say anybody's locked it up. There's still 18 or 20 games left in the NBA. I mean, that's a fifth of the season. It's 20%. I mean, things can happen. You can average 40 points a game for the last 15 games. I mean, you really can sway the votes there. But Giannis, I mean, with the Bucks having the best season in their franchise and just playing amazing, the best season in the NBA, and Giannis' numbers being crazy, you kind of just were like, yeah, he might win MVP again. But over the past week, LeBron has really went on a surge as the Lakers beat the Bucks and then the Clippers in the same week. Both extremely entertaining. Well, I didn't really get to see the Bucks as much, but the Lakers-Clippers was entertaining on Sunday. You could tell LeBron really cared. I mean, yelling after those and ones and stuff, like he was really into it. And that's what you love to see from, the face of the NBA is a regular season game on a Sunday afternoon, and he cares that fucking much. After his 17th league season in the NBA, that dude still cares about basketball more than anybody. So that's great to see. There's a chance LeBron wins this MVP. I think absolutely. I think these last 15 games, like I was saying, are really gonna start to do something. I mean, the Bucks. Giannis has been hurt for a couple games, and I think that they're gonna lock up that 1 seed pretty soon. I would have to guess. So I think he might sit. They might chill. I could see LeBron winning this MVP. Lakers get that 1 seed. LeBron's numbers are insane. He's gonna lead the league in assists he's gonna be the oldest guy to lead the league in assists for the first time ever. That's an interesting stat, but very impressive. Watching the Lakers, look, I made the prediction earlier in the podcast. If anybody wants to run back to my old predictions when we get to the playoffs and see if I'm accurate, I think I said Lakers over Bucks in 6. I got to stick with that. But I can't vote for the MVP race right now. It's too early. I think Giannis is still going to win it. But I think there is a real case to be made that LeBron has a very legitimate chance. He has 4 MVPs. This would be his 5th. This would be Giannis' 2nd. Okay, and then one other NBA note, Jason Tatum. I mean, the Celtics are good and they're doing all the thing. I think I mentioned Jason Tatum a couple weeks ago because he was really starting to ball. He's continuing to ball. I think he is definitely that next generation, like one of the next generation of superstars. He's part of that next group. He is really fucking good. I like watching. He had 30 last night against the Pacers. I just like watching him. He's so smooth. The way he plays, he learned a lot from Coby, so he has a lot of those moves. I think that he has really emerged. I think it's funny because I think I've talked a lot of shit about Kyrie and about how he must be bad as a teammate because you just see what he did to these guys. And it's so fucking clear. He stalled Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum last year. He just ruined their development. I don't know what the hell that was. But now Tatum is right back at it where you thought he would have been that second year. This dude looks like he's going to be a real problem in the NBA for the next couple. I could see Jason Tatum winning an MVP eventually in his career. That's how good he is. So I just want to bring that up because he just keeps on dominating. So I got to do that. And then finally, I have somebody at my doorbell right now. Are you kidding me? Oh, man. Okay, hold on 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. All right. Sorry about that delay real quick, guys. But before we get out of your hair, I've been ranting a little bit here today. I've enjoyed this talk. There's been a lot going on in the media with everything. But I just want to mention Bears-wise. So, and we're so far away from the NFL season, so I try not to get too much into this. The draft is going to come up soon here. The NFL Players Association agreement is in the news. There's going to be a 17th game most likely for the NFL, which I just think is weird because then teams are going to end at 10-7 or 9-8. But whatever, we'll get used to it. Be the same thing. Free agency is what I'm really interested about, and I'm really interested about the Bears. So Ryan Pace, sorry. Who was I thinking of? Mark Trestman? No, Ryan Pace has pretty much said he wants to stick with Mitch. Fine, whatever. But we got to bring in competition. That's what everybody's been saying. So a lot of people are floating out Andy Dalton. Like, it sounds like this is a real thing that he might come here and compete with Mitch. I don't know. What do you guys feel about Andy Dalton? See, here's my thing. I don't want to give up much for him. We shouldn't give up another draft pick, which I'm sure we would if we had to get him. And then what happens? He competes with Mitch. He beats Mitch, and then we learn that Mitch isn't good enough. Or then Dalton competes with Mitch. He beats Mitch. Then he gets hurt. We bring Mitch back. We have this cycle. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about any of this. I personally... I've said the Brady thing. I would at least give that phone call. I'm really hoping they at least make the phone call. I'm not saying he's the right move. I'm not even saying he even considers the Bears, but I just hope they make the phone call. I like Bridgewater. I like all these guys more than, I think that no matter what, Mitch is going to be the starter going into the season. And I guess I'm not completely upset with trying it. I just wish we had some other option. I think we've seen a lot. I think we kind of know what we got. But, if by some miraculous thing he turns out to be way better than we thought, I guess that'd be amazing. But I don't know. I wanted to bring up the Andy Dalton thing because I keep hearing it on the radio, and I'm just like, that doesn't excite me at all. As a Bears fan, that does not excite me, Andy Dalton. Does it excite you? Because I have a feeling that 80% of Bears fans would say Andy Dalton does not excite them. And he's not even that bad. I'm not saying he's bad. He's been a winning quarterback for a lot of his career. Gross. And then before I get out of your hair, Illinois just legalized sports betting. So sports betting is legal in Illinois. I got to go to Rivers Casino. I got to make some bets, maybe some March Madness bets. I've said before, I'm not a huge gambler, but sports betting to me is all, like that. That's where I would probably be interested. And so I'm happy that that's the case. A lot of the Midwest is getting it done. Indiana, Illinois, got sports betting now. So place your bets for March Madness, guys. Win some money. If you can't go to the games, because it sounds like nobody will be able to, we can all watch them at home, and those bets are still in play. But like I said, be weary of the upsets with no fans there, because that's harder to manipulate. It's harder to get the momentum there. I don't know. I think the better team usually wins. That's my guess there. But I might be completely wrong. Watch, there's going to be no fans, and there's 3 16-1 upsets. There's 4, there's a bunch of just crazy upsets. Who knows? But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. That's all I got. Appreciate you. I will be back next week with another episode of The David Lopez Show, presented by Passion Park ENT. Just thanks for tuning in. Stay safe. Be clean. Be healthy. I don't know. Try to avoid all the issues going on out there. Enjoy your weekends. Enjoy your weeks. And peace out. One love.